Hello my Funatics and welcome to my team builder for week 3 of GBA season 6. This week we're going up against MegaMogwai and the RealMarill. I'm coming off 2 disappointing wins, so hopefully this week will be my first victory. And also, me and Miguel have got a little bit of history in that we've only played once before. He's been a friend in the community for the longest time. I've known Miguel for ages. He's an awesome guy and it's been amazing to see his channel grow. But yeah, we've only ever battled once, back in the days of the GBA D-League, when we were both very fresh to the format, and it went my way, and we had planned, I say planned like it was completely in our hands, but we wanted to meet in the final, and have it off to see who, just to have a rematch, basically. And that never happened. Miguel just got knocked out in the semi-finals, so we never had that rematch. So this is the first time I've battled him since then. It's going to be very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to it. And I really, really want the win, because I want to keep that 100% victory success rate against Miguel. So let's hope for that. I'll show you the team right now. He's got some really cool stuff. He's actually got the combo that I went with in the PPL last season, the Blastoise, Mega Blastoise and Talonflame. Really, really liked it. It was very solid. Blastoise almost always did its job, and Talonflame won me so many games. So I'm really happy that someone else has picked up on that, and it's really cool. But he's using it differently to how I used it, in that he's got Gothitelle as well, which is a really interesting extra thing. He's very comfortable with Gothitelle. It's not so much, I'm not so much experienced with it, so I'm not sure if I'd be able to use it as well as he does. And what's cool about Gothitelle though is it does a job even if you don't bring it to matches. People are scared that it will trap their walls, so it affects what they bring in their prep. It has affected my prep. So yeah, he's got some scary stuff on his team, but what I did like was Dragonite's matchup against it, and that was the first thing that I saw. Basically, if I can get a Dragon Dance up, I can be doing big damage to his team. He has got walls, but they don't have very good recovery, so if I can hurt them, damage them early game, and then hopefully get a +1 with Dragonite, it will be able to sweep, because all of his fast things that are faster than this or have priority, extreme speed out prioritizes, and they're generally quite frail, so I can actually with a Dragon Dance at +1 extreme speed will actually take out a lot of his faster Revengers, so he'll have a hard time taking down a +1 Dragonite if I've weakened his walls. So that's kind of the game plan that I started building with. For that to work, I will need my rocks up. Stealth Rock, I think, are really important in this match and against playing Miguel in general, because it pressures Mega Blastoise to come in and spin. And not that Mega Blastoise coming in is a good thing, like, it's a very scary Pokemon, but you need it to come in to be able to kill it because it is bulky and it hits hard. And rocks are the thing that do that. And also, extreme speed won't be OHKOing a lot of his Revengers at +1, but if they've come in on rocks, like if Talonflame or Weavile have come in on rocks, a +1 extreme speed will take them out. So that's really important. So the next thing I wanted to do was rocks. I've gone with Fool of a Crook again. He's quite good at getting rocks up. He's fast. He actually threatens a lot of Miguel's walls. So Uxie is weak to knockoff, although it's likely going to be carrying a Cold Berry. I do understand that. And then he's got Registeel that's weak to the Earthquake. Again, it could get the Magnet Rise, but it's slower than me, and also, like, knockoff will still be doing good damage, and it can't really hurt Fool of a Crook unless it goes for some punches, and it is immune to my Intimidate, which is something that... Anyway, yeah, this Crook outspeeds Roserade, because I need it to outspeed Roserade, and then the rest is in attack, and just that EV set allows me to have an odd number of HP. I like having an odd number of HP. Even on this thing that's not weak to rocks, he could have spikes and stuff, so having an odd number of HP is useful. I had considered maybe a bulkier Crook to survive a bit longer, so that I could keep coming in and putting rocks up, but I don't think that it actually helps too much, and Crook is a decent matchup against his team. As I say, it takes on his walls pretty well, so yeah, there's that. The next Pokemon, this was so I've got my rocks, now I want something to hurt the walls a lot. and so my wall breaker is going to be, hopefully, Kyurem. Kyurem is hopefully going to break some walls. The way I'm going to do that is with this moveset. It's a Life Orb special moveset. I think that it's either going to be Yuxi or Registeel that is going to be his dedicated special wall. And I do have coverage for both. Why I've gone for Shadow Ball is because it's slightly more powerful than Ice Beam. If Yuxi is specially defensive, I'll need all the extra power that I have, but I don't want to be dropping my special attack with Draco because I won't be able to take it on one-on-one. Also, I need to bear in mind about specially defensive Talonflame, which this thing does a lot of damage to, but I can't really drop my special attack with that around if it wants to try and set up, because I will have a hard time revenging it, and may have a hard time revenging it, maybe not. But anyway, yeah, that's the Kyurem. It's pretty good against his walls and against his offense. It's alright, although his offense can hurt. It does outspeed Roserade, which is very good because I've got that Ice Beam for that, although it might be Yachi, but I don't see it being able to KO me back unless he's got a very strange hidden power, but that hidden power probably needs to be reserved for other things like maybe HP Ice, because that would hit both Dragonite and Crobat if I were to bring it, and maybe hidden power Fire to hit Klefki. Maybe, I don't know. Those are options, so I don't think he'll have like a hidden power fighting or hidden power, I don't even know. Yeah. So I've got Cold Turkey. Now, those are some cool things. So I've got a lure for things that can take hits from Dragonite in this, and I can then hurt it. I don't have very many switches, but this week I've changed up my tactics. I've decided to go much more offensive pressure. I felt that I've been playing quite passively, and I think that's what's been letting me down. In the first match against John, he did amazing prep, and I can't fault him for that. His prep was on point, it was amazing. Last match, I think that I probably just played worse than Fizz. Fizz just played really well. So I want to make a more offensively capable team, and I need to make the plays. So I'm quite nervous this week because I actually have to play pretty darn well with this kind of team. If I don't, then it's going to be an issue. I need that pressure. But anyway, having said that, my next Pokemon is going to be Suicune, but not necessarily the Suicune you know. It's going to be an Assault Vest Suicune. Why I wanted to do that is because Suicune is actually pretty good against a lot of his offense. It also, so against Mega Blastoise, Assault Vest Suicune can take the hits relatively well. It can take a hit from Weavile, it can take on Talonflame reasonably well. If it's especially defensive though, this Scald is only just doing slightly more than Roost plus lefties. But yeah, Scald is there for Talonflame and to try and get burns. Shadow Ball is actually there because if Gothitel's coming, which it may well, because Gothitelle is a good way of dealing with Klefki and Suicune normally, but this Suicune can actually maybe take on the Gothitelle because I have the Shadow Ball there, which hits it for about 50% of its offensive, and I've got the AV so I can take Energy Balls, which is pretty good. I've also got the Mirror Coat there for Blastoise. It's really my only way of dealing with it well, unless I get a Scald Burn, and it doesn't have any recovery, so Scald Burns would help. And the final move is Ice Beam for Roserade, just because I need to be able to hit that. I think Roserade or Gothitelle are likely switch-ins, maybe even Blastoise, but I don't think that risking a burn on a Blastoise is a good idea, and I don't think Miguel would do that. So I'm guessing that either... I think probably Roserade. I think Roserade is most likely to be coming to deal with this thing because it has Natural Cure and it has powerful Leaf Storms. Yeah, I don't really have great switch-ins on Roserade, but I do have my Kyurem that can take it on pretty well and can take a Grass-type hit, so that's alright. Anyway, moving on from there, we have got Stu the Mew, and this thing, I was considering what I wanted to do with it. It could have been a more supportive Pokemon. I don't have Defog at the moment, and my only other Pokemon is Electros, so I could have put it on this Mew, but I know that my own rocks are very crucial, and I think that they're probably more crucial than keeping rocks off my side of the field. That could be an issue in terms of sweeping with Dragonite because I will lose my multi-scale. He's likely going to get his rocks up. If he has a Colbur Uxie, there's absolutely nothing I can do to stop him getting his rocks up. And something that I'm more scared of is Hazard Stack with Roserade, which is definitely an option. So I need to keep the pressure on to prevent that from happening. But anyway, this Mew is a second win condition. I thought that banking on Dragonite setting up and sweeping probably wasn't the best idea as my only hope, because Miguel can prep for it alright. There are a couple of things like Uxie and Registeel that I definitely can set up on. Maybe Roserade, although probably not, and if I don't have my multi-scale it's going to be risky, because he could well have had the HP Ice. But anyway, with this thing I have a second win con. It will get killed by Weavile if I'm not behind a sub and can't get some hits off. But if I am able to get that sub up and kill Weavile, then I should be okay. Weavile might not even come. I was looking at his team, it might not come. It depends what he prioritized or not. I think it will. I think it makes sense, because if I bring Klefki, I'm bringing Shed Shell Klefki, and it's a good switch in on Weavile. But if I switch it in on Weavile and get my Shed Shell knocked off, then he can trap it with Gothitelle. So I'm thinking maybe Weavile and Gothitelle are coming. But anyway, yeah, this thing matches up pretty well. The only thing that it doesn't beat, really, is Registeel, which I've got other things to damage, and this thing will be able to set up on it relatively okay, because Seismic Toss is not breaking my substitute. The only thing that would, I think, is a Shadow Claw, and I don't think he's going to be running that, although he has been set up on by a sub Calm Mind Psychic type already this season. And so he might, no, it was a sub Rachi, sorry, not a sub Calm Mind. So he might prep for that, he might see that coming. But this thing is actually really quite good against his team. It outspeeds Roserade, so I can get those Psyshocks off. And I want Psyshock because it beats Spadef, Talonflame, and then Signal Beam is for the Psychic types and Weavile. We'll see how it does. As I say, if he gets Toxic Spikes up, that's an issue for this Mew. I don't want this Mew to be status, really. And then dealing with Weavile is tough, and that's why I need my rocks, and that's why bringing Defog is slightly counterproductive, because if Weavile doesn't go down, it's going to be tough. Extreme Speed is there to help with Weavile, and I have a few things that can take a hit. Kyurem does not take a low kick very well at all, but I do have quite a bit of bulk on this team as well, and I have Intimidate to play around with also. So that's the second win con, and then my final Pokemon is Electros. This thing, I've gone for the Volt Switch Momentum. It's Assault Vest to switch in on some of the special attacks. It's there really to help with a potential Goodra that could definitely come. Goodra would be an interesting choice, because I do have one faster dragon and one dragon that speed ties and hits it on the physical side, which it is weaker on. But it could be a Scarfer, because then it would outspeed both my dragons. Or it could just be he wants to play it and I don't have too many switch-ins on dragon types. But this thing would be able to switch in on anything but like a banded Outrage. And then I can get momentum by Volt switching out. It also helps with the Talonflame, it helps with Blastoise. But this last slot was hard to choose because I don't have Defog. I was maybe considering Bat. I was also maybe considering Klefki. I think is far too passive this match. It would be a nice switch on dragon types, but it's far too passive. If Gothitelle comes in, it just beats it, or could set up on it. Talonflame sets up on it. It can't do anything to so many mons on his team. Like Roserade, like it just can't do anything. Spikes would be so helpful in this match because I just want that passive damage on Weavile and his walls. But I just can't afford to bring Klefki because it does nothing. It loses me so much momentum. So that's why I didn't bring Klefki. So it was really between Eel and Crobat. But right, so that's the team. That's what I'm bringing. I'm hoping it will do okay. I need to play offensively though. I need to keep the momentum and I need to keep surprise factors with Suicune. I'm hoping to catch the Gothitelle and actually KO it rather than it KOing me. That would be very nice. And I need to keep the rocks. I do think that because I now have 2 win conditions, I can be a bit more brazen with Dragonite early on to hopefully take out some of his walls, and then Mew can have an easier time. The thing I am most scared of, I'm very scared of Weavile. I don't have amazing switches in on it. And I'm also scared of especially defensive Talonflame is quite scary. I do have this eel now, which will help with it. Thunderbolt does a lot of damage. I obviously have to play around with Roosts, but I'm not too concerned about that. I do have Acid Spray as well to help there. I could have gone Giga Drain, but I don't think Golurk's coming. I really don't think Golurk's coming. If it is, that's really unfortunate. But yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So Weavile is going to probably be the scariest thing to deal with, and his offense. Basically, Weavile and Talonflame are very scary. I need to preserve extreme speed for them, or I need to keep bulky things alive and unhurt, which is going to be hard. So I think really my way of doing this is trying to preserve the extreme speed so that I can hopefully clean up late game, or try and get a sweep. So I hope that makes sense to you. I just feel like I need to try to make a move towards being more offensive rather than more passive, because I think that's what I drafted this team for. This is what I imagined I would be prepping for when I went into this. So I think it's a positive move. I just need to see if I can make the plays. And Miguel is like a baptism of fire because he's obviously a very good player. So I'm really looking forward to this match. Hope you guys are too. You will see it this Sunday. For now, I've been Fufu, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.